Hello everyone and welcome to another review. The hair is cut, peanut butter is on the windowsill. What better time to go ahead and start another Goodsmellas review. Again, Goodsmellas review, separate type of thing. Goodsmellas are a group of just basically guys who like fragrances, and now it's time for our take on a pretty popular fragrance, Michael Jordan Legend. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Here is Michael Jordan Legend, the bottle. The bottle, I mean, if you know anything about Michael Jordan, you know this is his silhouette. It's his trademark silhouette that's on a bunch of things. The bottle is very simply designed around this concept. It kind of has a rubber, stoppish type of a cap. Not really much to say about the bottle outside of that. It's very plain, one would argue cheap, but it gets the job done. Legend on the bottom, and that's pretty much all there is to it. The notes for this fragrance, let's get into that real quick, consist of bergamot, lavender, anise, green tea, old leather, white patchouli, green moss, cedar, coffee chords, amber, and musk. Now, this fragrance was released in 1997, and if you are a collector of fragrances or you know kind of a decent bit about the perfume world, you know that this fragrance smells very similar to two other fragrances that are kind of floating out there. One, New Harlem, and two, Rojas Man, both of which were created by the same parfumer, Maurice Rousseau. These are the two fragrances that this smells like. Now, for those of you who don't or aren't that familiar with fragrances, what this fragrance basically smells like is a very sweet, almost one would argue a little bit sickly sweet, but very sweet coffee, very food-like smelling scent. They're basically called gourmands. Very food-like smelling scent. It's got a little bit of vanilla in it. When you first spray it, it's very fresh, but it turns it really into a sweet fragrance that really sticks around. It has this, in my opinion, smells very similar to maple syrup, or to syrup that you kind of put along pancakes. Very similar to that. So it almost smells like breakfast. And that's really what I get from this fragrance. It's very similar to, again, two other fragrances. It lasts about, I want to say, 8 to 12 hours. Outside of the 8 to 12 hours, it becomes more of a skin scent, but it remains on there pretty much for the whole time. Give it about 3 sprays, and what you're going to get out of this is something that projects very well. It projects extremely well. People that are 8 feet away from you are going to smell you, and they're going to smell you after you leave. So it's going to leave a nice little scent trail that will be, apparent for the entire duration of the fragrance. Even when it gets into kind of its dry down mode where it should be gone, it's still going to leave a nice little presence around you, and it's going to stick on your clothes too, for that matter. So just be aware of that when you're applying something like this. Now, again, I mentioned that this was released in 1997. This is actually the predecessor to, again, New Harlem and to Rojas Man. I'm actually curious if there were any other fragrances that were released before this that were the creation of this, or if this was the actual original archetype. So if any of you know any, references or anything like that that this might have come from, or even the parfumer of this, because I wasn't able to find out who actually made this, go ahead and let me know. Still haven't been able to find that info. Didn't look too hard, but we're all in this together. Let's try and figure that out part. So, if we get into what people thought, overall, people love this scent. There are some people who do find it a little bit too strong, and generally I found that tends to be in the summer, and for that reason is kind of why I want to mention that you really want to stick to colder weather when you wear this. Obviously, you can wear any fragrance when you want, but you really might want to stick to colder weather. Let's see what the Goodsmellas have to say about this particular fragrance.
It's a nice, fresh, pretty casual, definitely wear it for daytime. Yeah, an 8 out of 10. It's pretty
Smelling Legend now. I don't know who makes this. Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
I get basically a fresh scent. A very common scent. At 1 out of 10. Actually, it's reminding me a little bit of Lolita Lolita. 1 out of 10, I'd probably give it about a 5.
This is really nice. This one's really nice. Kind of gourmandy. If that's even a word. I give this one an 8.
This is Michael Jordan Legend. It smells similar to other fragrances. You can say Wakas Man, New Harlem, slightly New Harlem. It smells similar to Iceberg Jose, which a lot of people that haven't heard of. It's a niche fragrance. But it's a gourmand feel. Once again, if you've smelled Wakas Man, you won't be surprised by this. This is Michael Jordan Legend. I mean, it'll be a good substitute for it because it's slightly cheaper. But I give this a letter grade. I'll give it B or B minus because it's not unique. But as a substitute, I'll give it a B plus. If you try to substitute with another fragrance, B plus. But if you have something that's similar to it, a B minus.
Yeah, I like it. Sweet, soft. Reminds me of New Harlem, only lighter, not as rich. Yeah, it's a nice, cheap alternative to New Harlem. It's really nice. 1 through 10, I would give it. You know what? For the price, I would give it a 9. Actually, I mean, for the price, it's like what, $15, $20 at the most in stores. It smells really good. Definitely, I recommend it for the price, especially. Yeah, definitely. Good stuff.
It smells nice enough. Kind of sweet, sort of generic, but it smells good. I'd probably give this a 5, maybe. Not my style, but I think it's nice. That was Legend.
It's nice. It's a bit young. It's sweet. It's got like a bubble gumminess, but not like a teenage girl bubble gumminess. It's kind of, I would say it's fairly unisex. Definitely winter. I mean, it's got parts of maybe like touches of New Harlem in there. I don't know if there's coffee in there. I like it. It's not so bad. If I were to give it a grade, I'd probably give it maybe on paper, first impression, B minus, C plus. I need more time with this.
I like it. It's kind of, I get kind of like a fresh, not fresh like shower fresh, but kind of like a spicy men's deodorant kind of freshness. Has a bit of a masculine. It's also kind of sweet. I think it's good. I don't think it's the best thing in the world, but I'm definitely enjoying it. And I can see any man pulling this off for a very casual wear. Out of 1 out of 10, I'd have to maybe give this like a 3 or a 4, somewhere in that range.
It's a little woodsy. Nothing earth-shattering. I could definitely see guys being into it. I could definitely see it being a good seller. Scale of 1 to 10. My taste, I give it a 7.
So, right off the bat, you can see there were remarks about fresh. There were comparisons to New Harlem. There were comparisons to Rojas Man. There were comparisons to Lolita Limpica All Masculine. That's probably, kind of does have this licorice type vibe to it as well. So that probably was where that is coming from. Lolita Masculine has that type of a sweet licorice vibe, and this does have anise in it, or licorice, so it does kind of have that same vibe-ish type of a thing. So gather from you will. Overall, the Goodsmellas thought that it was very pleasant. Especially for the price when you're looking at it, and I haven't mentioned that yet, that's really what kind of really gives this fragrance its strength, its price. This fragrance you can buy for anywhere ranging between $15 usually and like $30, and this is a 3.4 for a 3.4 or 100 milliliter type of fragrance. So it's very cheap. A Rojas Man you can assume to purchase around around like $40 or $50, something standard as a standard designer. And for New Harlem, it retails for over $200 or between the $100 range. You can generally find it at some places. I'm not sure if they still sell it online. I know Bond was trying to get it yanked from a lot of those discount stores. But you can probably buy this one for around $100 if you look hard enough for the 50 milliliter. All right. So in terms of comparison price, $15, yeah, really can't beat it. And if we're comparing the actual scents between them, I actually find that they smell very, very, very similar. Similar to the point that if you spray one on one arm, or if you did like a spray test on somebody's random skin, I would have a very hard time telling the difference between the three. So for that reason, if you don't have this type of a scent, you're looking for one, I would feel comfortable telling you, go ahead, buy Michael Jordan Legend over Bond No. 9's New Harlem, sheerly for the price. Sure, yes, there is a difference in quality, and I can smell the difference in quality, but again, I think it's almost a little bit negligible for that. If there is a cheaper alternative, like I said, I think it does qualify as a very cheap alternative to New Harlem. If you're looking for that coffee, that sweet, that sickly sweet type of a smell, go for New Harlem. Check out New Harlem for $15. Really can't beat that. Overall, very pleasant fragrance. The price is right. Again, looking for that fragrance, take a look at this one. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free, leave a message down below. Send me a comment, do whatever you gotta do. Usually respond within about a week, but sometimes it may take a little longer. In either case, have fun and take care of yourselves.